What is going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rage, back with another Outriders worldslayer video to bring to you, and today we will be counting down the best legendary sets specifically dropping for the Technomancer. Now for this list to work, we will be looking at what the meta builds use, what have the best mods on offer for general use, and what have the best set bonuses. Now a slight disclaimer, just because a set bonus might be lower than what you expected doesn't mean it's bad per se. More the other sets offer more in versatility, and the top few slots were very close and could have gone either way. Now before we go any further, make sure you have dropped a like and a subscribe on the video. It really helps the channel out. And did you know only 19% of you watching are currently subscribed to the channel? It's completely free to do so. It helps us to be able to make more content like this and keeps you up to date with all future content to come for the channel. On top of this, we're also partnered with Player Ammo, your one-stop shop for the ultimate energy and focus formula designed to level up your performance. Make sure to use code BABBLE at the checkout to save yourself 10% off your order. Now with that all out of the way, let's get right into it. Alright, so taking the coveted last place slot will be the Grim Inventor set, scoring pretty badly across the board for the set bonus, meta builds that are using it, and the tier 3 mods specific to it. Now it's a shame that I do rank the Grim Inventors highly for its looks, but that's not what this list is about. The issues are kind of twofold with this set, where the no increase to your in damage for a set bonus holds it back massively compared to the other sets, and the only unique tier 3s we are getting for it are arguably the worst two skills in the game, which will be the RPG and the Pain Launcher. Now this wouldn't be too bad if the tier 3s did transform them into crazy skills like Quartermaster can do for the fixing wave, but instead we get increased rockets in reserve for the RPG and increased rockets fired for the Pain Launcher, and nothing for the minigun. It's like it was designed in mind that the minigun was always going to be the better option and the RPG needed a lot of help in the form of tier 3s. It just doesn't pay off, and the set bonus relies on another skill's usage when it's pretty much easier and more effective to use Fixing Wave and Quartermaster to be able to refill. Needless to say, it's pretty much never okay to run the Grim Inventors, and it just makes me sad. Now after the horrors of the Grim Inventors, it starts to get a little bit tricky, as some of these are just similar in terms of power level. Now with mods and builds in mind, I would have to go for my personal favourite set in the game next to be able to take the 5th place, and that's the Torrential Downpour set. Now avid fans of ours would know how much I love the Scrapnel getting boosted with Worldslayer, with Depleted Core being a huge factor in that early doors, allowing me to be able to burst down the over-leveled Arbiter within 6 Scrapnel uses. The set is pretty simple. Every single cast of Scrapnel now causes cluster bombs to pop out, dealing further damage, and this is scaled on your anomaly power. And it used to be to 100% matching, but now I believe it is closer to 115% from the patch that did also sort out the status power for higher apocalypse levels. And that's it. It doesn't help you if you're not using a Scrapnel. It comes with Fixing Wave tier 3s as well, but most notably Quartermaster, which a lot of builds do tend to be able to run to keep their rounds up, so I would consider this mod top tier. The reason why I had to rank it lower than the number 4 spot is the status power change and the Mage's Rage fix hit this build fairly hard, dropping it from top tier potential or a rogue build status to just being adequate. It can still get the job done, but it's just not as fast as it used to be, and the practical uses of the next spot opens up more build options rather than just being funneled into just the one. And taking the number 4 spot, we see the Plague Sower's set, one that's seen a lot of changes in the last few months. Changes including a better set bonus, a tier 3 mod change to be one of the best in the game, and the close range attributes changed to long range to be able to fit the playstyle better. And yet still, with all of this, it can't break into the top 3. So why is that? Well, it comes down to a set bonus that's easy to be able to misunderstand just from reading, and it also comes down to how the set bonus kind of hurts you, depending on how you try how you kind of build around it. Let me elaborate on this. So the set bonus offers a maximum of 50% increase to firepower when you stack Toxic on enemies, as long as you can do this within a 10-second time frame. The problem is that it doesn't equate to a flat 50% damage boost, and this can easily catch people out thinking it is a better Borealis set when combined with the damage reduction. Yes, you will see a boost in damage, but it won't equal that of a flat 50% for frozen targets that the Borealis does offer. So DPS wise, this doesn't quite cut it against other options. Well, okay, you say. What about the damage reduction? All I need to do is be able to apply Toxic and I get a 25% flat reduction. That's true, I would say, in response to you not actually asking me, but asking through me, and that's nice, but this is where the other issue we now have with the Plague Sowers comes in. What I hear from reliable sources in the community is that this bonus firepower and damage reduction doesn't work on refreshing Toxic on the same target over and over. Now, as a single target focused DPS machine that the Techno is, this causes a problem, as now you'll either need to be able to keep moving your crosshair to focus on other targets to keep the stacks, or you'll need to be able to build around it with mods you might not normally use. Most notably, the mod that springs to mind would be Splash Boost. Now granted, if you do build around it, yes, it's easy to be able to get the stacks, but without that knowledge you'd have carried on and not even noticed. This set also comes with some great top tier mods as well, with like Euthanizer and To The Bone, which both feature commonly in top tier meta builds, so it's worth giving kudos for that at the very minimum. On top of that, it does have a very unique playstyle, which while it can go into firepower, it can also go into melee focused Technomancer. Now we are looking to be able to make a build on that. I am planning to be able to cover that on the channel. I just need to be able to get a few more pieces, but melee Technomancer is absolutely hilarious when you use it with the Plague Sowers, and it can get a lot of work done. So make sure you stay tuned on the channel for that, but that build will be coming soon in the next couple of weeks. Alright, so now we get into the juicy bits, as the next three sets are all crazy strong and especially help make meta-defining builds possible. Now keep in mind, there's not much in separating these sets, so arguments could be made either way here, but I'm going to have to put the Flame Leper in the third spot. Now it's true, Flame Leper is currently the main go-to for speedrunners due to Ice Baby with hastened influence builds that absolutely wipes the floor with expeditions. With fast cooldowns, high crit damage with Burrowing Charge, huge AoE clear potential, it just pretty much has it all. It's like the Nuke Pyro and the Firepower Techno had a gross anomaly baby that's everything its parents were pretty much known for in just one single package. My only gripe which stopped me putting this higher was that it's pretty much good for. Sure, the Leper set can be used in a multitude of builds with its top tier attributes for anomaly power and status power, and the set bonus just kind of works with all builds thanks to things like lethal devices, but the damage over time is not much to be hyped for, and honestly, if they ever did do a fix for how Toxic is consumed and reapplied with the set so that Hasten sucked, I don't even know what I'd use this set for. To be fair on the set though, it does have an absolute unit of a mod for Blighted Rounds in Alchemical Mastery, allowing it to be able to help Anomaly Power and Firepower builds alike, and Bad Medicine also is pretty on the funky side, so there's that too, so you can kill your enemies with heals. It's almost like it's the ultimate insult to those breachers with their shotguns. Now okay, yeah, I might get some flack for this, but I'm going to take it because if you honestly think that the turret-based gear should be in second place, you might need a check upstairs. Like I said, it's definitely close, and I completely get why I've seen Borealis turret builds in the past, but with how strong Anomaly Power builds are for Technomancer right now, I'm going to have to give second place to Borealis. Now, the king of vanilla, Borealis is still ridiculously strong even with the nerf and fall from grace it had with worldslayer, seeing the frozen bonus drop from 90% to 60% and then to what we now have at 50%. It's still a huge damage increase, and rightly so in being meta-defining, but with the Pax tree and the changes to damage multipliers and with Dark Sacrifice being hit, it kind of left a gap for anomaly builds to be able to take full advantage of, and so they did. Icicle Storm is still an insanely good mod, being used on Ice Baby builds, used on Firepower Techno builds, and sometimes mixed in with triple turret setups for faster clears. Shatter is always a welcome mod for a class that specialises in freeze and toxic damage, so 16% will always be a welcome in all builds that can apply that status. And who can forget the once overlooked mod of Twins, giving us 2 cryo turrets on 1 cooldown. Now, the Pax tree didn't offer much for Borealis builds, mainly as it was already the strongest build out of the gate, so it didn't really need much more. But okay, sure, Firepower can benefit from things like both lethal devices for faster AoE clears and toxic applications for their build to be able to get going, and then they can move on to Impermanence and Dissection for even more damage multipliers. But so can other builds that don't rely on maintaining a tiny magazine of rounds for their main damage output. The meta shift from Firepower to Anomaly really took its toll on Borealis, as its attributes roll into Firepower and long range damage do nothing for most skill based builds now, with only Status Power being a great role to benefit from. Anomaly Power builds could definitely be done with Borealis, but then it meant kind of sacrificing some base Anomaly Power to be able to get that 50% damage boost, which can be a worthwhile trade, but can also be a huge loss depending on what else you run in the build, with Mage's Rage being the main one to be able to suffer with that less base AP. With all this being said, Boreais builds are still insanely strong, and they can clear rooms and bosses like nobody's business, but it's not the be all and end all it once was, so I have to move it down for the next set that we've got on the list. And here we are, the number one set bonus, pretty much the true king of Techno set bonuses. We have the Technomancer set. Where do I even start with this? It just gets everything right when it comes to a legendary set. Strong unique tier 3 mods, an amazing set bonus for damage increases, and it takes a build that was decent in vanilla and turns it into pure god status. Tier 3 mod wise, we did get mods to be able to boost up the viability of both the blighted and the cryo turrets, changing them from just tickling status appliers into tanks that just take no prisoners. Double Trouble turns your single barrel cryo turret into a turret with 2 barrels, effectively doubling its fire rate, and not to be outdone, you also have improved coolant to be able to double the fire rate of each barrel, taking your measly single barrel pea shooter into a monstrous minigun that applies freeze, and with lethal devices it also applies toxic. Perfect for taking advantage of the euthanizer and shattered damage boosters. Pair all of this with twins to have 2 turrets getting the full benefit, and all of a sudden your single cryo turret skill now fires 8 times faster due to doubling the turrets with double the barrel with double the fire rate. Let's not look past the unsung hero though, which is going to be the blighted turret. The skills get some interesting mods, but the main one really is focused discharge, which now means your green flamethrower turret can now effectively shock and damage enemies nearby. So it does become a distraction that is now kind of lethal. The little green turret keeps its low cooldown too, meaning it's effective to set up the bonus, where cryo turrets can be set up for the first 20% boost right off the bat. The blighted turret then triggers the 3rd stack and can then be continuously chucked to be able to keep the bonus up from there, and to be able to trigger adrenalizing antenna, which is commonly used in the skill tree. The 50% seems to be base damage increase too, meaning it will also apply before damage multipliers like Shatter, Euthanizer, or if you do go into the dissection packs tree. But the best part about this set is how well it can synergize with other skills. Using 2 turret skills means you have a 3rd slot that's free to be able to fill with whatever you like. Fancy going full stronghold and resistance pierce with the minigun? Slap it right on there. The anomaly power and status power attributes will see you well. Want to be able to chuck a scrapnel for damage with depleted core and use the bottom tree AP boost? Go for it. Cold snap with easy freeze setups and faster ad clearing while the turrets do the bossing? It works. Blighted rounds for increases to anomaly power through status or using to the bone for more damage? The possibilities are endless, but I think the real reason the set has to take the top spot for in Outriders Discord is the fact that it's the number 1 recommended build for anyone that is new to the class or is having trouble with trials and expos. Due to Technomancer's healing mechanic from all damage dealt, the triple turret setup makes you nigh on unkillable and turns the game into easy mode. It's just absurdly strong and all players absolutely love it for it. And that's it on the video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think I got it right in your opinion, or how you'd mix the list up. I'd love to be able to read any other people's takes on this, and massive thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video, and massive thank you to the Babylonian family as always for their continued support. Their names appear at the end of every single one of our videos, and to get yourself featured and to support us at the same time, make sure to click that join button found down below to be able to grab yourself some Babylonian status. And I guess with all that out of the way, that just leaves me to say, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on our next video.